In 2004, I was a novice teacher and found myself looking for a job. It was a prestigious school in Alabang. You know the rigmaroles that one has to go through to get a job, eh? The submission of documents, taking up exams, interview with the HR. I had to visit this school for quite a few times since everything those days had to be done in person. Yes, including submitting your resume. It was not only expensive traveling from Commonwealth to Alabang, but also required the whole day. The travel time alone was at the very least 6 hours. However, every time I did reach the school premise, I marveled at the facilities of the institution. The landscape, the theater, and they had an entire building for their canteen. I could not even believe that a school with a football field exists in the country. And, lo and behold, they offer Latin as a subject in basic education. I wonder if they still do now. Here's a tip kung kayo ay isang guro na naghahanap ng trabaho at may schedule kayo ng interview sa isang paaralan. Get to school early so that you have a chance to roam the premise, especially the bulletin board that contains the information about the school, such as the mission vision. Then, use this info to your advantage when you are asked the question, "What do you know about our school?" This scenario also applies to job hunting in other fields. It is just that in a school setting, the info that you need is rightly available on the boards. So, I was at the school for the third time, I think. And at this time, this was the interview with the department head of social studies. He was a charismatic guy and exhibited calmness all throughout the interview. And since it was a teaching job, questions were about classroom management, lesson delivery, and about stuff that show how aware you are regarding current events. Then the interviewer dropped the classic job interview question. What was a great book that you've read recently? I am seriously thankful to my college professors who had us read books and other publications on a weekly basis. Like literally, I had a book review for this subject and another one for that, plus the Dean Koontz paperback that I got from the book sale shop. So, back to the interview, I immediately answered a particular book that tackles the historical development of poverty in the Philippines. Sadly, the book's title slipped my mind. It was long and probably my nerves had gotten the worst of me. It was not a book, but actually a sort of a nucleus of a book that was coming to fruition in the years to come. This paper talked about decolonization and how to address the issue of poverty from its roots and structural causes, and how a nationalistic approach to the economy as well as industrialization would alleviate the lives of the Filipinos. So the interviewer asked me again about the title, and I could not seem to remember it. He asked me to continue, so I gladly did. The paper also mentioned some information about the 1972 martial law that mainstream textbooks neither discuss nor even mention. Well, with the tons of posts about martial law littering the social media this September, I have yet to see a post that talks about this point of view. This paper posits the premises presented by Raymond Bonner's book entitled Waltzing with the Dictator. Ito ay ang neo-kolonyalismo ng Amerika sa Pilipinas at sa iba pang mga bansang lumaya matapos ang ikalawang digmaang pandaigdig. To put it simply, ang kolonisasyon at pang-aalipin na ipinagbawal ng United Nations ay nagbagong anyo lamang. Ito ay tinatawag na neo-colonialismo. Naging mas malupit kaysa sa unang anyo nito. Banner's book discusses the heavy involvement of the world's most powerful country in the Philippines during its post-independence period, meaning from Rojas to Macapagal. And of course, the 20-year term of Ferdinand Marcos is included. How the USA put an end to the Filipino first policy of Garcia and liberalized, rather opened the Philippine economy to the world, with the peso being floated and pegged to dollar during Macapagal's term. You may also use the term globalization if you want to. Regardless, protectionist policy and measures were shut down. At ang Pilipinas ay patuloy na naging market at bagsakan ng produkto ng bansang Estados Unidos. The book continues with Marcos becoming the president. The world's superpower has strengthened its grips on the necks of our government leaders. Marcos was known as Reagan's pet. That is according to Carnot's book entitled In Our Image, America's Empire in the Philippines. And here's the exciting part of the book. Sometime during his term, a call for nationalization of the Philippine economy has begun. But before it materializes, the U.S. instructed Marcos to declare martial law to prevent such a nationalistic move from happening. You heard it right. The book affirms the involvement of the U.S. in the events that transpired on September 21, 1972. And the rest, as they say, is history. The interview went well, and it seemed like a tete-a-tete between two close friends. Sadly, I still could not remember the title of the book. The gentleman gave me some instructions and told me to wait for a call any day next week. His cheerfulness was present as he escorted me down the hallway. I was silent as I exited the school premise. I was desperately trying to remember the book's title, thinking that it would somehow adjudicate everything that happened in the course of this job hunting. By golly, I finally did remember it, so I rushed back to school and saw the head of the social studies unit in the corridor. He was scanning the social studies bulletin board as I approached him. I victoriously recited the lengthy title of the book, and his response brought a wide smile on my face. He told me that he had been wanting a copy of that book for their library. I was excited at the weekend, expecting a call on Monday, but my expectation led to disappointment. Tuesdays had passed, and so did the rest of the days of the week. But I did not get any call or SMS. The Monday after that, I received a call informing me that I got a job, that they want me in. There was a moment of silence in my end. Then, I regretfully turned down the job offer. I would never forget that Monday, just like how I refused to forget the 21st of September, 1972. 2 days after that call, I left the country, just like what the Marcos did in 1986. In 2004, I was a novice teacher and found myself looking for a job.